Choose wisely. That's all I say. Two paths lie before you, life and death. Choose life. Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your July Soul Session. I'm Princess India. If you're new and if you're family, welcome back, my friend. If you're not familiar with what my soul sessions are, they are your spirituality as well as personal development readings, in which we look at the energies that you guys may encounter for a given month for the sole purpose of giving you clarity, insight, and guidance and all that good stuff and whatnot or whatever from a Gemini rising. I totally just added that in there. Anywho, I'm going to tell you guys what I've told everyone. Okay, every sign prior to you for this month, with last month being June, which is the midpoint of the year. Those of you who are woke bookers, now is a good time to look at the last 6 months of the year to kind of check in with yourself and see, okay, where it is that you are with your goals and whatnot or whatever. And I also have to say, my Gemini friend that I was talking about with all of the signs prior to you, except for like a couple, like the last few prior to Gemini, how my office is a mess because of all of the other signs, because I have been compelled to pull decks that I've even forgot that I've owned off of my bookshelf, you know, and use them for different signs. Like literally each reading has been different. None of them have followed the same format. For certain people, I felt compelled to use different cards. And Gemini, you changed up the game. Like y'all are the last sign that I'm doing for July, because it was you guys' season prior to this. But this is a deck I have not used in I don't even know how long. But I saw it. The card specifically that I saw was the Eight of Swords in this deck, which is called like Trapped in Fear. So I mean, I don't know if y'all have an analysis paralysis or something like that, you know what I'm saying? But that's literally the card I saw, and I was like, oh my gosh, I know that deck. So I pulled it out and I'm using it for you. And another cool little note before I jump into your cards is at the time of me recording this reading, I just found out from Selena that we are in a it's a void course moon, but the sign that it's coming out of is Gemini. So we're in a void moon coming out of Gemini energy, the moon being out of Gemini energy. When it comes out of the void of course moon, it's going to, of course, be going into Cancer. But I think this is interesting and a perfect way to wrap up the entire zodiac wheel, because stopping with Gemini, the first sign that I started with was Cancer. So I think that's an interesting little thing to note. So if you feel compelled to watch the Cancer reading, definitely do it, because it's a collective reading because we're in Cancer energy. So I'm going to step down off of my soapbox. Anywho, first card out, we have the Six of Wands. It's material and spiritual prosperity. Then we have the Ace of Wands, which is prosperity begins. This is all Wands cards, crazy. The other card that flipped out is the Eight of Wands in the reverse, and the name on that card is positive movement forward. See, what it is looking like, my wonderful Geminis, is coming out of June and into July. It's more or less, and this is kind of like an okie doke, coming out of June and into July, you guys are feeling on top of the world. It's more or less having an energy or an aura about you of, you know, winning, being on top, things going in your favor. With this Ace of Wands, it's speaking to, because of this, you know, on top of the world, chest poked out, like, this is me, I'm here, I did the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like having that kind of vibe is I would say the mindset you guys are more or less in is if that's a foretelling of more good things to come. So it's feeling as if you're victorious. So in whatever case, whether, like this card says, material and spiritual prosperity. So whether that's in the sense of you guys achieving something, you guys accomplishing something in the 3D realm, like you got a job, you got a promotion, you know, you got recognized, you know, you got a spike in views on your channel, you know what I'm saying? Your YouTube channel blowing up, you know, whatever the case. it's more or less feeling on top of the world. And it's almost kind of like a feeling of satisfaction and contentment of like, this is what life is about. Like, what could possibly go wrong type of thing. And I feel the first week of July, it's more or less you guys being focused on the future of like, what's next, what's the next step, like, how can I expand, how can I grow? This feels heavily like I've never noticed this in this card. It feels heavily like a business kind of thing to me. Now, what totally caught my attention with this card that I've never noticed before, in the Ace of Wands card, there's a tree, right? And I've always assumed it to be an apple tree, but I've never noticed until literally this moment that is a peach or an apricot. I don't know what the difference between a peach and an apricot is, but I think it's a peach because peaches have like that little pit thing in it that looks kind of like a walnut. And I'm just making the connection that this is not an apple tree. It's a peach tree, and it's showing the seed under the roots that this tree came from. I never noticed that was freaking peaches before. That's weird. I mean, I don't want to hold up y'all reading by me Googling. I may do that towards the end. I mean, y'all got Google, you know what I'm saying? So go Google what the spiritual meaning of a peach is. I need to look that up. That's so strange. Or an apricot. I'm gonna have to look at it and see what the difference is. But anywho, but it's more or less like I was saying, it's feeling on top of the world, thinking about what's next, having the motivation and the drive and the wherewithal to move forward and feeling like this is the beginning of something great. However, with this Eight of Wands coming up, it's more or less speaking to a block. So I would say this is kind of transitioning into, if we were to think of the first week of July from like the 1st to the 7th, this would probably be towards, I would say like midpoint of the second week of July. So like the 8th and on forward from there, it's almost like this mindset of, like seeing the future, like not necessarily in a psychic way, but having visions for the future, feeling like this is just the beginning, like we're just getting started, and insert like whatever this whole peach thing is symbolic of, and there being some sort of like a pause or a halt. You know what I'm saying? The next card after that, oh wow, is the Five of Swords, and that's conflict and defeat, and that's followed by the Hermit in the reverse, which is the Solitude card. Of course, that is Virgo energy, but it's more or less, and this reminds me, I said this in another reading before. I can't remember what sign it was, but, and I think it came out for two signs that were back to back, but I was saying something along the lines of like not counting your chickens before they hatch. Like meaning if something was coming towards you, like say if there was like a lump sum of money you were supposed to get hypothetically, right? And you start spending that money before you get it, and then something happens to where you were supposed to get the money on the 1st of the month, and it ends up happening to where you're not going to get it on the 30th. And because you spent like, your rent money or your living expenses on this expenditure, then when this delay happens on the 1st, you know what I'm saying? And you don't get the money when you expected, like you're in a position now where you're trying to figure out how you're going to pay your bills for the next month, right? Having that assurance that, of course, it's not going to last long, like the money's going to come, but it's trying to figure out how you're going to handle things until then. And the reason why that situation transpired is because it was something that was on offer, but it wasn't guaranteed, if that's making sense. So it's taking an offer as a guarantee. So the thing I was concerned about before I turned over this Five of Swords, the thing I already felt that this was going to end up turning into was because you guys start so much on a high note and, you know, you're seeing the future and like all of the, you know, visions and stuff you want to do, things that you want to accomplish, like this is what life is about. But then you have a hiccup that causes things to not move in the way that they seemed. And, you know, coming out of June and into July, with this Five of Swords, it's more or less internalizing that and taking it as an L. Like, oh, I knew I shouldn't have gotten excited and da 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 da. And I feel that's the thing that you guys don't want to do. Like, it wouldn't behoove you to do that. You know what I'm saying? So if we were to look at this as more or less like a testing ground, if you will, it's more or less coming back to this whole theme that's come up for everyone this month, which is this whole pick a side. It's like you finding yourself in this situation. Are you going to fall back into this old mindset of like, I knew it. I knew this wasn't going to work. I knew this wasn't going to happen. I should have never let myself get excited. Like, are you going to fall into that or just look at it for what it is of like, okay, I mean, it's a little delay. You know what I'm saying? It's a little block, but it's like, I'm not tripping. You know what I'm saying? So this is one of those things where, like I say test, but not really test, because this is one of those things where it's like, if you think about like the Olympics, right? And you have to go through like Olympic trials to get picked for the Olympics. So before you compete, it's like you have to show yourself, you know what I'm saying? Approved, you know what I'm saying? And for them to be like, oh, okay, like you gonna do the damn thing, you know what I'm saying? And you get on an Olympic team. It's like, this is kind of one of those things, like, and I don't know, is that why they call test trials? You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I guess the words are synonymous, really. But that's really what it is. It's like it's putting you in a situation similar to the real test, right? And how it is that you handle the pressure in this pseudo test or this practice test, if you will, is going to determine how things go forward. Now, with this Hermit in the reverse, that's more or less you guys really taking it as a L, like taking it as a failure. So it's almost like going into like shame mode, like hide my shame. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I was talking all this smack saying I was going to get this job, or I said, you know, oh yeah, I'm going to have a new car, and it's not happening. You know what I'm saying? And it's feeling almost as if as you need to hide yourself now. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing, the contrast, Gemini, is that this is delayed, not denied. But why is it that, you know, Gemini is seeing this as denied? Right? And it's because it's delayed, because it didn't pan out the way that you hoped. In the beginning of the week, like I said, the Six of Wands and the Ace of Wands, you're on top of the world and you feel that you're unstoppable and anything is freaking possible, right? But now something comes up, manifestation, what you guys were in coming into July was the is, right? Something that you called into your life, you got a taste of it. Now the is not manifests, right? Because it has to create space for the is. So this is a transition point. And the only thing that is saying that it's not what it is that you felt in the beginning is your own head. So the Eight of Wands in the reverse is a delay. It's not a denial. But the mindset of Gemini is saying that this conflicting situation, right? This block, this pause, this delay is a denial, and it's not. The only thing that's saying that it is a denial is your mind, right? So that would make sense to me of why does I use this deck in the first place? Because the impression that I got, I saw the Eight of Swords, which is trapped in fear. So that means that what it is that's happening around you is happening, right? But how you're perceiving what's happening is from a place of a prison of your own making. So the fact that this is the end, this isn't going to work, this never ever works, like any of those, you know, dark distraction thoughts, all of those things are coming from one's own mind. It's a prison of one's own making. But outside of one's mindset, meaning like if you pulled another person into your situation to give you an objective view, they could see solutions that you can't see. And I feel for all of the signs that I've done prior to you, there has been a valuable lesson everyone is intended to learn. This month has a lot to do with shadow work. It's people's shadows that are manifesting out of the ithers and being like, hey, how you doing? Remember me? You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's coming to the fore. But I feel that whenever Gemini is faced with some sense of conflict or a perceived loss, a feeling of shame is what is instantly provoked. And what does one do? Hashtag Adam and Eve, because I totally thought that this was an apple tree for all of these years, right? You go get a fig leaf, you know what I'm saying? Which kind of makes you wonder, why would anyone think it was an apple? Because they covered themselves with fig leaves. I'm just saying. The story never says apple, it just says fruit. You know, it's a little side note. Anyway, moving right along. But it's the fact that they covered their shame. You know, once they became aware, right? And we talk about all of this in the woke book this year, in the year for 2021, once they become aware, right, of the is, not, and the is, of good and evil, right? Once they become aware of that, they suddenly realize that they're naked. They never knew that prior to. Nakedness, now it's, oh my gosh, shame because I'm naked, so now I need to cover up. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this Hermit in the reverse is all about. So it's kind of like running away from conflict, you know what I'm saying? And it's running away from conflict to avoid either rejection or being defeated or people seeing one in that state. But I feel that's the perpetual cycle that's keeping one away, because I feel you guys on one sense or another have come to this place of feeling on top of the world, feeling inspired, seeing a great deal of possibilities for the future. And a lot of this has to do with whatever it is that transpired in June. So whatever it was that happened in June or the latter part of June or an epiphany you had during the full moon in Aquarius on the 23rd, whatever the case may be. Yeah, I think the 24th. Yeah, the 24th. Whatever the case may be, it's the fact that it was an experience, a feeling, or an emotion, right? A newfound hope that made you believe in yourself and what was possible for the future. Whatever it is that instigated that feeling in you is what you need to hold on to, and what literally needs to be your lifesaver or your life vest or whatever as you're moving forward in life. That's your get out of jail free card, is needing to tap into that hope, you know, because this goes into something I said in another reading earlier this month, which was, I think it was Scorpio, is putting too much of your faith in the external world. Like it's your happiness and your drive, or your cosign, right? Your insurance that you're in a good place or that things are going well for you are tied to things in the material realm. And where that's an issue is because those things are temporary, right? Like at any moment it can change, because that's life. It's like nothing, everything's in flux, like it's never consistent. You know what I'm saying? So if you're putting your happiness, your worth, your value, your peace in other people, situations, or circumstances, you will continuously be disappointed in life. I can promise you that. If you never listen to anything else that I say, hold that true. If all of your trust or your happiness is contingent upon someone outside of you, how much money you make, what you do for a living, where you live, what kind of car you drive, what you dress like, what you know, your degrees, your accolades, certifications, whatever the case may be, if it's anything that's 3D or 3D realm related, it's something that has value that was given to it by another human, you know what I'm saying, or a standard that was set by another human, you will continuously be disappointed because it's always going to change. You know what I'm saying? You can get a Mercedes Benz, but 10 years pass, no one's going to care that you have a Mercedes Benz. If that, well, I'm not even going to say 10, let's say like 20, because you know, you could ride a 10-year-old Benz and still be flossing. But I'm saying, anywho, but let's say 20. Like you can have a Mercedes, but if that daddy is 20 years old, it kind of loses its value. It doesn't have that same pull that a 2022 Mercedes Benz has. You know what I'm saying? It depreciates over time. That's everything in this world. From the moment that the umbilical cord was cut for you and I and all of human beings is the moment we all begin to die. Like we're living to die. Our entire life is about learning to die. That's what this whole thing is about. You know, the beginning was the end. You know what I'm saying? The clock's just winding down. So if you're putting something like happiness into external stuff that's breaking and shifting and changing, you're always going to be disappointed. So what the whole call to action is with your last card, being the Four of Pentacles, it's all speaking to, did I say the Four of Pentacles? I meant to say the Four of Wands, child. I don't know where my mind at. With your last card being the Four of Wands, it's all about you creating a sense of security and stability, a strong foundation within yourself, right? It's all about creating that within yourself. And I'm telling you, Gemini, even if you don't have Scorpio in your chart, I'm telling you to go watch the Scorpio reading, my friend, because I feel it would be beneficial, because I went into this at length. So the whole premise with this is you create, and this is similar to what I said for Taurus too. It's about you creating a strong foundation to stand on within yourself, to where when the winds of life come and change things around you, it's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? You don't feel any type of way about it. You know, you're not looking at things as if, you know, let me say it this way. It's not being at the will of life. Like, this would be how it is that you take your power back from a situation. You take your power back from a situation by you being that standard. Like I told Taurus about them violating their own core values. This is you unearthing those values and you standing on them. That is your foundation. And regardless of what happens, like, that would be the rock of your existence. So if you build your house on rock, then no matter what kind of storms come, you know what I'm saying? No matter challenges that you face, no matter how many delays, you know, manifest on your path, you're never going to see it as denied. You're just going to see it as delayed. It's just a not right now, but that doesn't mean that it's not for me. So there's no need to hide. There's no need to, you know, retreat. There's no need to like reconfigure. Oh my gosh, what do I need to do? Because this is just a timing thing. It's just denied. However, this has given you an opportunity to realize that insecurity within one's own inner stability and one's own inner sanctum, so that it can be addressed. Because that shadow work aspect of what's manifesting this month for everyone, it all relates to something that we've been ignoring, or something we haven't given attention to, or something that we thought just, you know, healed through osmosis. You know what I'm saying? And it's bringing that thing to the surface so that we can deal with it once and for all. And then look at that, child, look. At the bottom of your deck, it's the Destiny card, but that's the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. So this goes back to this whole divine timing thing. It's not spirit saying no, it's spirit saying not right now. But with this card saying destiny on it, I think it's hilarious, because I talked about this in Aries as well. It's like we're all at an interesting time. And I've already brought up the whole Libra reading I did years ago, and all the wheel turning and the black cloak and the lake and all that other kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like all of this stuff is happening. It's like we're in an energy where the first will be last and the last will be first. It's a major shift that's happening. When is that shift going to happen? My money is on October. You know what I'm saying? I feel come October, life is going to look very different for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? But speaking to your namesake, Gemini, that of which would be the Lover's card. I mean, at least in tarot speak, you know what I'm saying? And the main premise of that card being a choice. When it comes to a choice that one needs to make, it's a side that one needs to pick. And the decision that all of us are making is between light and dark. You know what I'm saying? So choose wisely. That's all I say. Two paths lie before you, life and death. Choose life. You know what I'm saying? Don't be like Adam and Eve. But anywho, I'm going to pick a card for you guys from the Rebel Oracle deck. And I love it because, you know, I get to just curse unprovoked. But I mean, I already curse unprovoked, but that's neither here nor there. So anywho, we're going to get some additional messages for you guys before I let you go. I don't want to keep you too long, Gemini. I know you got dope things to do, dope little twinning things and whatnot or whatever. So let's see here what messages that the Rebel deck has for you all. I got 2 decks on my mind that I want to buy at this moment. You'll learn about them later. Anywho, so first card says love, and it says give some. It will cheer your ass up. Oh, that's so beautiful. The highest frequency of all is love, my friend. I like to see love and God as synonymous. You know, I feel like the two are one and the same, you know. Then we have stop obsessing. You are not the fucking center of the universe. Why? Because love is. Love being God. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be the God of your own life, Gemini. There's no fun in that. I've been there. You know what I'm saying? I got a whole message about it. I'll tell you the story one day. But anywho, that's been your reading, Gemini. I'm going over to my network to do you guys extended. So if you're about that life, follow me on over there. But if not, I still love your freaking face. And I will see you guys sooner than later, my friends.